Brisgel and David Solomon. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. You think about it, we rant about it. Listen to us live on Facebook.
What's up, everybody? It's gonna be an interesting rant today. I got David Solomon sitting over on that side, depending on which way you're looking at the screens. And I gotta be honest with you, I never thought I would have a conversation that is as racially charged as this one. You know, the definition of someone trying to avoid the facts does everything but answer the question. And the example I'm going to give, the sky is blue. Yes? Well, that's a nice day. The sun is shining. The weather's great. Everything but the fact that you're trying to have them say is also one of the most annoying things. And I got to tell you, David, you found that article. I am absolutely just flabbergasted. I'm going to let you take it.
You know what, Stuart? I think let's take a step back here about really what we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen. And unfortunately, once again, our friends at the Black Lives Matter showed their ugly face. Now, if you are a watcher or listener to liberal media, this probably didn't cross any of the channels, because when I did research all this information, I couldn't find a single mention. So what's going on here is that we have a new mayor in New York, Eric Adams, and Eric Adams is really pissed about the crime situation in New York City that has gone awry. Let me remind everybody that remember, we had a former mayor of New York, and he got into a piss war with the police. He didn't care. He just did whatever he wanted. He screwed up on COVID, and now he walked away going, not my problem. It's the next mayor's problem because there are term limits in New York City. Well, Eric Adams, the new mayor, who, by the way, interestingly enough, if you'll notice his persuasion, he's an Caucasian, folks. He's an African American, and he's not happy with what's going on in New York. And so he decided that he wants to bring back some more strict measures with the police against crime. Well,
hang on a second, David. Hang on a second. Does crime know a color?
Well, no, crime is colorless.
But thank you for realistic.
But here's the thing. Eric Adams, the mayor-elect, wants to put back strong police measures to fight crime. Unfortunately, to this man, and I won't call him a gentleman because there's nothing gentle about him, Hank Newsome, who happens to be the guy for Black Lives Matter in New York,
I think he's an attorney as well,
is not only not happy, but he says if the city goes back to its old ways of policing, there will be riots and bloodshed.
Yep.
So, Stuart, what you talked about just earlier at the beginning of the rant was, so where did Stuart talk about the sky is blue? Well, yesterday, former police officer and also Secret Service person, Don Bongino, love him or hate him. And there are people who really don't like Don Bongino. But he interviewed Mr. Newsom, and I will call him Mr. just to be polite. And when he asked him, Don Bongino asked him outright, do you condone violence? He says he neither condones nor condemns it. And that's Stuart's way of saying, answer me if the sky is blue.
Yep.
Bottom line is, he threatened bloodshed, riots, violence, burning down businesses if the mayor-elect brings back any form of policing. Stuart, there are many things that piss me off here, but the first thing that drives me nuts is that either do it my way, yep, or I'm going to cry.
Right. David, let me jump in. I think there's a famous reporter, lawyer, attorney, Alan Dershowitz, that starts his, when you had a lot of these pro-Palestinian people ranting on different campuses, and he would just debate them. And his first line is, and always has been, do you condemn Hamas? Now, what happened with Dan Bongino, because he goes by Dan Bongino, who is a right-wing conservative, and a lot of people have a lot of, undesirable emotions towards him. But it was really based off of the rhetoric by BLM, where Eric Adams calls on fellow Democrats. Now, you're right, David. Eric Adams is black. He was elected primarily by black and Latino New Yorkers. And that's great. You know what else is a fact? Is that a black man is asking the Democratic Party to get off of this BLM train. Because you know what? Not only are they not good for New York City, they're not good for black Americans. Now, this guy, not Adams, what's his name again? Newsom, wanted to invoke the Martin Luther King in this broadcast, where he likes to draw reference to Black Lives Matter to, Martin Luther King, the great old Malcolm X. These are iconic black men in history. And, their one pivoting point has always been, and anyone that knows their writings and their teachings, is I want to be a man, not a black man. They want to be a man. They want to be looked at as any other human being. So that includes the Asian, the Indian, the Jew, the
Latino. What's aggravating is like Newsom doesn't care, will invoke words, but it's the
Newsom is just another vulgar barbarian in to make a fiefdom and to motivate violence, and this crazy measure that even a black educated American who's elected mayor of New York says, you better stop the shit or you're all going in shackles.
It's what the whole thing, which is mind-boggling, okay, is this great, they want to, I have, again, and we've talked about some previous rants. I get the concept philosophically about Black Lives Matter.
I don't.
Hold on. No. What I mean by that is that, yes, there are racial issues in America. We understand that from that premise.
But Black Lives Matter says white people to love black people, which is ridiculous.
Stuart, I'm not talking about the Black Lives Matter, capital B, capital L, capital M, which is the movement. I'm talking about the philosophy that black people feel. What I'm tired about is if I go out right now and I would go out and poll anybody, and say, so let me understand correctly. Policing, yes. Properly policing.
Yeah, but in that interview that he gave to Bongino, he goes out and illustrates 5 points. There are about 1 million pullovers in a given short period of time in New York. Cops have pulled people over, probably, I'd say, 6 months. 1 million people are pulled over, and 5 end up being really bad.
Stuart, but the thing is, that's not
focus on the negative.
Stuart, of course he wants to focus on the negative, and this is my point. All this is about a power grab. All this is about maintaining some form of relevance. Okay? Because you know what it's like. If the dust is down, if it's quiet, then you have no cause. You have no movement. You have nobody supporting you.
No money.
But the thing is, now, if you had a white mayor doing this, oh my God. But the fact that Eric Adams is standing up and saying, we don't accept crime. He didn't say black crime. He didn't say Hispanic crime. He didn't say Italian crime. He said crime. And how shocking. Hank Newsom comes up and says, oh no, you do that, we'll burn New York City down. Yep. Now I'm saying to myself, so what are you trying to accomplish? Anarchy? Like in Seattle? Like in Portland, Oregon? Like in Minnesota, where you've created unbelievable amount of anarchy? Chicago, where you've got 2,000 plus murders per year? This is what you want? Congratulations. You've created the absolute anarchy so that you can maintain your existence, so you don't care who dies, you don't care who gets hurt. I mean, let me remind everybody, how many African Americans lost their businesses during the George Floyd riots?
Yep.
It burnt down entire businesses.
Yep.
Why? Because they were angry. It was justified.
Hey, you know what? Listen.
Oh, man.
Listen, when you have people like Newsom that the media gives the light of day and adds and gives any credibility,
No, the
you are
opposite, Stuart.
going to
No,
cause,
Stuart,
you are
sorry. No,
going to
Stuart, the
cause.
opposite. Instead, the media turned a blind eye. This is the problem.
No, they didn't turn a
Stuart,
blind eye. They didn't turn a blind eye at all.
Stuart, did
They
anybody cover? Hold on.
embrace this.
Show me,
They
show
embrace
me,
this.
show me CNN's coverage of Hank Newsom's statement that he'll burn down New York City. Show me CBS, ABC, NBC, any of them who did this. If you go look it up, go find it me. Go find me the condemnation from the Don Lemons of the
Well,
Rachel
no, I want to
Maddow and all that.
challenge
Where is
anyone.
it?
No, David, I am not. Okay. What they have done previously is they gave the attention about a title, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, but that's
And
not.
they turned it into something that wasn't what
But
the
Stuart, I
actual
understand, but the
mandate was.
Democratic Party of the United States condones Black Lives Matter. The Democratic Party of the United States is supporting it to the nth degree, and I haven't heard a single word of negativity, a single word of condemnation towards
You
violence.
won't. They're politicians. They need their
No.
vote.
They want that. There we go. So Eric Adams has the intestinal fortitude to stand up for what is
Well,
right.
he's an ex-cop. He's
Nah,
an
but
ex-cop.
I don't care.
You want to know something?
But
They're going to
there's
call him. Listen. The left media is going to call him Uncle Tom. They're going to call him an Uncle Tom. They're going to call him a puppet. And you know, that guy, Adams, an ex-cop, thank you for being a cop. Thank you for serving. And thank you for being someone who might be responsible. It's too early to tell. But
Well,
his
we don't know,
initial statement seemed pretty damn good to me.
but you know what, Stuart? Here's the irony of it all. The man isn't talking about his color or anyone else's color. He is looking at New York City, the safety of the population, the business owners, tourists. I mean, let's be realistic. 20 months of no one visiting New York City. You finally reopen the city. You finally get the chance to welcome the world. And the world is going to say, I'm not going to New York. If there's going to be violence and riots, I'm not safe. I'm going to tell you, Stuart, in the 1980s, I was petrified to go to New York. It was a crime-ridden city. It was frightening to go to. And now,
Really?
voila.
You
This is
remember
what,
that? You're
yes,
not
I
that old,
do.
David.
I'm
Oh,
old
David.
enough to, excuse me, Stuart, I am. And the crazy thing is that Hank Newsom and his band of violent degenerates, and I'm going to goons, are going to destroy New York so that they can maintain some form of relevance. So let me understand correctly. Instead of working towards resolution, instead of working towards peace,
he had a statement where he said rioting is good.
yeah,
It's a way of expressing yourself.
correct.
And you want to know something? Martin Luther King marched. He didn't riot. Martin Luther King marched. You know what marching is? Walking down the street holding a banner. You know what? The banner's read, "I am a man." I challenge anyone. Who says they support Black Lives Matter.
It went even further than that. Let's be realistic.
What did painting Black Lives Matter?
Martin Luther King did not want to resort to violence because he wanted to show everybody the right way in which to achieve success and to achieve equality. And he did. He was vilified because people needed to, come on, anger must lead to violence. Well, it's interesting because we teach our children supposedly some form of respect. We teach our children some form of understanding and how to talk to each other. But when it comes up to you not getting what you want, it's okay to stomp your feet and destroy. And you know what, Hank Newsom, do us all a favor. Disappear. Go away.
Crawl under the rock.
Because you are not representative of your community, as you'd like to say.
Hey man, I got a lot of people that work for me, and I talk to them all the time, and I hear all the rhetoric. And do you want to know something? When they tell me Black Lives Matter, I tell them, you know what? Are you talking about BLM or are you talking about people? I'm talking about BLM. I go, the door is there because you need to get a job working for someone who believes in BLM. I believe that all people matter. And if
All
you're
people
listening
matter.
to this broadcast, it's coming to an end, and you believe that all lives matter,
Mm-hmm.
then you need to call out every racist scumbag, especially those from BLM, who
Yep.
want to villainize white people, Chinese people, Indian people
It
to
doesn't matter.
raise up what they call our black people. I just don't get it.
Neither do I.
It's like
Stuart,
plant. I got to tell you, I just
yeah,
don't get it.
I don't either. And you know
I don't,
what?
I don't get it.
We will not get it, but we
Nope.
need to start. We need to start condemning violence. Folks, have yourself a great week. We'll see you all on Wednesday.